Welcome to Work the Left Side. I'm happy to announce I'm joined this week by Postie Malone, everybody's favourite postman. Dude, how are you doing? You good?
I'm all good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, mate, I'm 5x5. Everything is good.
Stuff.
So, yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for chatting. Obviously, sort of fresh meat within the wrestling world, I would sort of say. You've been at it for a couple of years now, I want to say.
Yeah, about 3 and a bit years.
Yes. So in wrestling terms, yeah, still sort of fresh to the scene.
Yes. My body wasn't feeling well.
No, well, I can imagine after 1 week, body feels like, no, mate, I'm done, I'm out. So,
old man, it's difficult.
Yeah, well, obviously, you see the T-shirt. Obviously, anybody knows the channel knows I have a fondness and much admiration for what Pursuit do. Anybody who steps into those halls, into that ring. So, yeah, dude, we'll get the generic stuff out of the way first. So, what was going on in your head? What made you take those steps and be like, okay, yeah, I want somebody to drop me on my head on a regular basis?
Well, I've always been a wrestling fan, and then I had to stop playing professional football because of my knees. So I decided to take professional wrestling instead.
Okay, so obviously, yeah, we kind of hear that a lot, in like WWE and AEW, guys that play American football,
Yeah.
who then pick up an injury or bodies just say no, they kind of sidestep into wrestling kind of thing. So yeah, it seems like a traditional path.
Yeah,
So,
I was playing 5-a-side with a lad called James Bacon, and he was doing it at the time. And we got talking whilst we were on the pitch. And then he said to come along and give it a try. And I picked it up really quick and just loved it and enjoyed it. I started at EBW and then was there not very long. And then obviously COVID hit and Pursuit came along. And I've been there ever since. And it's just a great facility.
I was going to ask, it seems like, I don't know what the percentages are, could lie in, say, 87%, but a lot of the Pursuit peeps have that EBW background. So, I know obviously, I've spoken to a few people that were started at EBW, then ended up at Pursuits. So you wouldn't have been at EBW for that long, though, would you? Because it wasn't too long. No. How did you find it there? I mean, obviously,
shows in, and then that was it.
So obviously, it must have been nice though when you went to Pursuit, familiar faces.
Yeah, it was nice to sort of go back and train with a few people that I'd started the journey with. But then obviously I got there and the level was just even higher. I went with mine knowing that it was like a fresh start, but the level that the rest of the people were at that were coming down was like, Jesus Christ, I've got a lot of work to do.
Well, man, steel makes steel. So you can only get better by working with people that you improve because they improve and vice versa. You elevate each other. EBW though, so yeah, what kind of, obviously you're talking, is that where the 5-a-side dude trained then? Did he just basically pull you into like a training and you went along with him and that's how it all started?
That's how it all started, yeah.
Wow, because obviously your sometime tag team partner, Mr. Aidan Sparks, I know he's a EBW alumni. Yes. He was there for a long time.
He's been doing it a hell of a long time.
Yeah. So we're trying to get him on the show, but I think he's a bit of a technophobe. So I'm trying to see if I can record via Facebook Messenger or something. So
I think I'm a massive technophobe as well.
Well, thank you for doing this so we can actually talk. But no, hopefully we'll get Aidan on soon. But yeah, like I say, man, Pursuit. Right. Did you have the Postie Malone gimmick at EBW, or is that something you came up with at Pursuit?
No, it was something I had at EBW. I was I go to Le Mans 24-hour car race every year, and I was drunk with some friends, and one of my mates said, Post Malone was on the radio. And then he was like, oh, you should call yourself Postie Malone. And that's kind of where it stuck from. And it all developed from there, really, because everything I've done from there on has just been Postman themed. So like move sets and stuff like that. I came up with the names first and then put the moves into the character. The character's
awesome.
grown and taken off quite a bit.
That's the thing as well, you know, we're all about pursuit. Again, anybody who's watched any of the previous episodes with anybody on that trains there, you know, they've all sort of said it's a great environment for creativity. So, you know, if you come up with an idea, you've got people to bounce it off of. They can kind of, you know, you can work things, throw things at the wall, see what sticks. So that's obviously helped build the character as well.
Yeah, but nothing is off the cards there, really. Like any character that you want to come up with or try something out, like everybody's there to sort of support you and go, yeah, this is not a crap idea. Just go with it and see where it goes.
That's awesome. I've got to ask the dude, obviously, anybody who's been to a pursuit show, went to First Pursuit, or, you know, seen the in-house shows, the envelopes, the presents, the things. What was that? Just something you came up with and you've kind of stuck with? Because everybody I know who's been to a pursuit, that's one of the things they always talk about. You know, I always kind of get messages being like, "Oh, guess what? I got off Postie this time," kind of thing. It's like my mate's girlfriend got an Optimus Prime at the last show.
Yeah.
A few of my mates got Tamagotchis at First Pursuit, I think it was. Yeah. Are you just like the best customer Wish has ever had, or what?
I think so, yeah. Like any wholesaler that's just getting rid of stuff dirt cheap, I'll get on and then just use them for the envelopes.
That's awesome. So as just general, just came up with an idea. Obviously, Postman, it'd be easy just to, I don't know, give them made up bills or something, but to actually give them something nice, that's like, okay, that's kind of cool.
That might be for the heel turn, like bills and lumps of coal and stuff like that, but that's a long way away, yeah.
So is that generally what you do there? Is it just like you're just looking for like sort of say you're just buying stuff in bulk? Is there like an ongoing theme, or is there something that just pops up in your head and be like, you know what, I'll give them Tamagotchis this time, or look, there's some cheap Optimus Primes.
Obviously, First Pursuit was a big deal for PPW, and then obviously being asked to be on that show, so I kind of thought I needed to go a bit more out there. So I had the light up flashing red glasses and the Tamagotchis, which were off Temu, I think, just silly cheap. And then I think I started off with just like wrestling cards and sweets. And then obviously,
if you gave me an envelope with some Mawams in, I'd be quite happy.
Yeah. So it's always whatever's on offer at Tesco and Aldi.
I love it. Talking of First Pursuit, dude, obviously, yeah, you made an impression. I loved you in the Battle Royal. The parcel spot. That was just genius. Absolutely loved that. Obviously, when you came out and you plonked it there, you was kind of like, sense of foreboding. That's going to come in handy at some point.
Yes.
And then you hit that spot, and it was just like, yeah, there we go. Worked really well. That could have gone tits up, dude. You know, you could have just decked it off of that.
I know. I practiced a few times at training, getting the landing right and making sure. But then obviously I had a few people to be near the box just in case.
Kind of support it.
Yeah.
Smart, man. But yeah, so obviously, you know, EBW Pursuits. Outside of Pursuits, what kind of promotions, you know, big up some of the other shows like, you know, you've been on, or promotions?
Well, last year I've debuted for Planet Wrestle, CWE in Blackpool, and Fight Factory as well. I managed to get across for the Royal Rumble.
Nice.
Raise money for cancer.
Yes. Yeah, it was October, November. November last year, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember talking about that just prior to it. I think we had like we had Rogan on, I think, or Hardman down, and they were bigging up that show. So it was a big show, man.
It was, yeah.
How did, obviously, you know, I talk to people who, you know, when they appear at their training school shows or their promotional, you know, shows, it's kind of their in-house shows. But when they get that first booking outside of that safety net, you know, that's like a sense of gratitude. You know, it's like you've earned it. How did that feel, dude? You must have been buzzing that first time. Somebody's trusted you with a spot. That's not pursuit.
Yes, yeah, it was. It's pretty big deal, really. Obviously, because I've been putting the graft in and working hard, like everybody does, and then like turning up for shows, helping out, and this, that, and then juggling 2 kids and work. It's a big thing. But then obviously, people have recognised the hard work and stuff that I put in, and then actually getting that first booking I was very nervous, but smashed it out of the park. Carried on. Character got well over, and then I've been invited back. So must be doing something right.
Was the first one? Was it CWE or was it Planet Wrestle? First one?
It was Planet Wrestle, I think.
Nice. Obviously, yeah, Leeds based.
Yeah.
Just awesome. It fits the character perfectly, man. From what I've seen, I've never made it to a Planet Wrestle show yet. It is on my list. I definitely need to get there. But again, it seems just like a lot of fun, very family friendly.
Yes, it is.
Kind of holiday camp, but not in a holiday camp. You know, it's just very kids. I can imagine, the Postie character just going over, like, just everybody popping huge for him.
Yeah, Jake does a really good job because he does mix the card up quite well. So there is a lot of the family sort of show, and then obviously puts on a couple of big names to put on a big crowd pop for the proper wrestling fans.
Well, that's it. I mean, you got to cater to everyone. I mean, obviously, you're a wrestling fan. Besides being a wrestler, you're a wrestling fan. I said, you got kids. They old enough yet to appreciate what you do, or do they go to shows?
Yeah, they both come. They're 4 and 1. Like Phoebe, the youngest, is not really there yet, but Imogen is well there at the moment. She really gets on board, and obviously doesn't like it when I get beat up. Likes it when I win.
Nice. But yeah, like I say, shows like Planet Wrestle, perfect. Perfect. Go along, have a good time. I'm failing as a parent with mine at the minute because he's 6 and just got zero interest. So I keep trying to drag him to shows. It's like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit here and play Mario. I want to go wrestling.
I also debuted for Breakout as well. Back in the last year.
That's 4 promotions, man, in the last 12 months. So obviously, like I said, you're doing something right. The hard work's paying off. I'd say the Fight Factory one as well, dude. That was huge because that was such a big show for them.
Yes.
Anybody
who was very honoured and privileged to be on that because it was quite close to my heart, really.
Well, that's it. It just makes it extra special. Then you're raising money for a great cause. It means what you're doing it gives it that extra purpose kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, well, was it? Obviously, I presume it was a 30-man rumble.
I think so.
Yeah. I think it was. I think 10 mans are normally called battle royals, aren't they? In fairness, so yeah, 30-man rumble. Have you worked a 30-man rumble before? Was that your first one?
I think I've done a couple, like training wise and that, and done some battle royals, like a proper rumble out of EPW. It was my first one.
Yeah. I always imagine being a bit of a nightmare. You got, there's so many moving parts that could just slip.
Yeah. Well, I literally got my one spot that I'd done several times that I wanted to hit, and then obviously Hardman Dan looked after me, and then I got through that, and then I pretty much did a few bits with Benjamin Quill and got eliminated, and then got out of there. So I was like,
job's a good one.
Yeah, not overstaying my welcome, but really appreciating the spot that I was given.
Well, that's it. It's not, you're not overstaying your welcome, but you're making an impression, and hopefully the amount of people I've talked to when they're talking about working this promotion or that promotion, and then they've gone on to have a good run. You always ask, like, oh, how did you get into the promotion? Oh, well, I got a spot in the Rumble. The Rumble's like the foot in the door.
Yeah.
If you can make that impression, over the next 12 months, fingers crossed, you'll be becoming like semi-regular or regular, a Fight Factory kind of thing. So
yeah. But then I did one at Breakout as well, and I came out number 2, and Kemper was number 1. And then we did this really big spot some other guy came in, did a bit with him, and then ran another spot with Kemper, and then we finished it where I was going to go for the stomp. He caught me mid-air, powerbombed me, and then F5'd me out of the ring.
It's like I just even I thought of being in the ring with Kemper, I'm just like, oh Jesus, wept. Guys, absolute huge.
He's an absolute unit.
Yeah. I was at True Grit Wrestling recently, and he turned up at their day at their Rumble, and yeah, just literally everybody in the audience was just like, oh.
Yeah, his presence is just ridiculous.
That's it, man. But like I say, you two had your time in the ring, you ran your spots, just making each other look good as well. And that's the thing as well, because obviously you guys know each other from Pursuit. You've got that. I always kind of get that vibe where you work together to make each other look better. That's the constant vibe.
I'm not scared of him.
You're a better man than me. But no, I'm sure he's a teddy bear, really. I have had the pleasure of speaking to him. He's awesome. It's just when he's in character, man, with the chain and stuff, you're just like, I'm crossing the street. But so yeah, I mean, that's 4 promotions there. So obviously, just have you got any sort of promotions, or have you made a list yet of people that you want to have a match with, that you want to get in the ring with? Is there anybody you want to learn from? Again, I know Pursuit's awesome. You've got these amazing coaches there. You have guest coaches turn up. Is there anybody that you want to kind of step in the ring with, just to run 5-10 minutes, just to pick the brains, see how they do stuff?
I'd really like to work Joe Wade, just because of what I see at training and stuff like that, and some of the stuff he can do. I'd like to obviously push myself, because obviously getting on a bit, I'm struggling with that aspect. So I'm kind of now wanting to go a bit down the singles route rather than tagging with Aiden, because Aiden's now doing stuff on his own as well, and he's getting out. He's got a few new promotions he's working for, and then so I'd like to work Joe Wade. I'd like to tag with Natalie Sykes, Jet Marshall, just because he's such a hard-hitting, fast-paced guy. I'd like to see if I could cope with that.
Yeah, I think it would be a different style, wouldn't it? You kind of got to. It's one of those ones you wouldn't know unless you do it, kind of thing. You've got to experience it.
That's it. Like you see, I do stuff with both of them at training, but there's that aspect that the level jumps up again, obviously in front of the crowd and on a show. And I'm all about pushing myself, and I'm just going to go until the wheels fall off, really, because I'm currently injured at the moment. I tore my MCL in my left knee.
Oh, dude, your knee again. So it just always seems to be wow. Yeah. What's the rehab time for that?
6 to 8 weeks. Hopefully, I was supposed to be booked this weekend, but I've had to turn that down, which was an absolute sucked. Not something I wanted to do, but obviously my body is first, unfortunately. But I could put a few good names across to the promoter that would take my spot and would do a good enough job in the match that I was given. Obviously, I was supposed to be working Axel the Clown.
Okay, cool. That would have been
a great match. I love working Axel. We just have so much fun. He doesn't like working me though, because I always beat him, and I took the PPW belt off him. So
yes.
Love him, really.
But that's it. A little bit of friendly rivalry. Don't hurt anyone. Again,
you've got to have a feud somewhere, haven't you?
Exactly. So obviously, I mean, the promoter's got to understand these things happen. It ain't ballet, as the saying goes. People get injured. So what are we talking? What we're now sort of mid Feb. So fingers crossed, you'll be back in action sort of March time.
April, I've got a couple of bookings, so I want to be back to it by then.
It's just a case of resting it, rehabbing it, getting it back to normal. Dude.
Yeah, I start physio next week, so that's something to look forward to.
Yeah. No pain, no gain.
Correct.
That's it. But no, well, fingers crossed for you, man, because obviously, you know, again, like I say, you're one of those characters, I think now that is becoming more and more known. People are obviously seeing your work. The character's obviously over, you know, especially at Pursuit. And, you know, from what I'm hearing at other places, you know, as you said, you know, you get good reaction at Planet. You got good reaction at other places you've been. So I think this year, man,
was I was at the Rise Rumble in January, and
yes,
I got spot there, and I was backstage. Obviously, the big surprise was Trent Seven. I was backstage talking to him and that, and gave him one of my signed pictures, and he gave me one of his, which was great. But then he was also like, "Oh yeah, you're the Postman guy, aren't you? I've seen you on the Pursuit shows and stuff like that." So like, that would just blew my mind that somebody like that knew who I was, because he's been obviously watching, because obviously the Pursuit shows that go out once a month, and he's just been on that and watching things like that, and that just
hey, that's crazy. Awesome. Well, yeah, because obviously you think about, you know, what he's done, what he's accomplished, and he's still taking the time to watch like shows like that. And he's watching these shows, and then obviously you stand out enough. It's like, oh yeah, shit, yeah, you're a Postman dude. That's the thing, though, it's such a cool gimmick. That's I never thought I'd say that about a Postman, but it's such a cool gimmick because it's memorable. It allows you to do like the envelope thing. I mean, it gets you over with the fans. As previously discussed, you've got an instant heel turn if you want to stop being a twat and putting like crappy things in the envelope. That's
not
many
envelopes. That's the great heel turn.
That's it, definitely. Yeah, no more. That's it. So lost them.
Yeah,
lost your mail, mate. Sorry, no mail. But yeah, that's the thing. Because again, anytime I've spoke to anybody who's, again, a lot of the Pursuit guys, very character based. Wrestling went through a time period where there wasn't any characters. People were just trying to be themselves, but you know, just turned up or with a bit of attitude, pun intended, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the character seems to be coming. Well, it's back. It's not coming back. I keep saying it's coming back, but it's back. It's back in force.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's guys like you that are, you know, making it work.
I would much sooner have like a really big character match than a full blown sort of wrestle match.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's character and my age, I think. Obviously, I kind of need to be slowed down a little bit, but that never happens. Especially when I get down to the facility and, oh yeah, let's do this. Yeah, I'll run that spot. Yeah, I'll take that bump. I'll jump off this. I'll jump off that. But I just become a kid when I'm back there.
That's awesome. That's cool though, because that's an enthusiasm that you should never lose. You know, if you lose that enthusiasm, you hang up your boots, kind of thing.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
There you go. That's it. But I mean, yeah, we talk about characters, and you sort of say that's your, you know, that would be your preference. So is that from your days, you know, as a wrestling fan? Is that what kind of drew you to wrestling in the first place? The larger than life characters, you know, not so much the actual 5-star matches, but you know, just the characters and the stories.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I've always been a very character based fan of wrestling. I mean, I still appreciate a 5-star wrestling match, but for me, it was mainly character stuff and things like that, like Doink the Clown and things like that. They just stick.
It's amazing how many people I speak to who so appreciate. I was about to say, literally, that it's so underappreciated at the time, but in hindsight, people look back. And yeah, Repo Man is one of those names that everybody seems to remember, but he wasn't really appreciated at the time. It
wasn't big, it wasn't massive, but like you say, you remember somebody that does something or comes to the ring with something.
Yeah, that's it.
Or just a Baker and the Harley Davidson. You could look at it that way.
Yes. So right, okay. From when you got into wrestling, we've mentioned Doink, we mentioned Repo. I'm going to put you on the spot. Top 5 characters from your wrestling childhood memory fan base.
I've got to start with Stone Cold because I've always been a massive Stone Cold fan. Jeff Hardy.
Okay. Is he a character, or is he a character, or is he just Jeff turned up to 11?
Just the
persona,
attitude era Jeff Hardy. Like, again, a bit like sort of, I'll jump off this and see what happens. It's a bit like me. I think there's a TikTok video on Pursuit where I'm jumping off one of the rafters back into the ring to do a frog splash. So yeah. Owen Hart.
So many people say Brett, but I'm a massive mark for Owen over Brett. I would pick Owen over Brett any day of the week.
I was still an Owen Hart fan. I'm a Bret Hart fan, sorry.
Yeah, so was I. But
when I was starting to watch wrestling, Owen was one of my favourites. But then obviously I was allowed to stop up late to watch the pay-per-view when he passed away.
Over the edge.
Yeah. A really surreal moment as a 15-year-old.
Yeah, I didn't see it live, but I remember getting hold of the VHS, about a few days later. And yeah, my mate forewarned me about it. I was just like, oh, dude.
Yeah. The live thing, seeing it all happen there and then, like seeing them cut back and seeing what actually happened was really weird. I was 15. It was that sort of age. Like, is it real? Is this supposed to be happening? And
yes. So, to be fair, anybody who watched that and still wanted to be a wrestler afterwards, I've got to tip my hat to. How does just that because of it, like, no.
Yeah.
Do you want to go from the rafters? No. And you just thought about jumping from a freaking thing, doing a frog splash from a bloody thingy before.
Yeah.
Not quite as high, obviously, but it's still freaking.
No, yeah, it's not.
So, Austin, Jeff, Owen.
I really like Cody at the moment.
Oh, okay.
And then left the Triple H.
Oh, okay, the King of Kings.
Yeah.
Mr. Snoz himself.
Yep. Very random 5.
It's a good 5. It's a good 5. But yeah, each one kind of obviously I can understand the logic behind them all. I'm currently watching the '97 wrestling stuff with JC. So Triple H is still Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and I'm getting an appreciation for that character kind of thing over Triple H. But yeah, just the whole blue blood character kind of thing. And it's just again, it just ties into like I think that was kind of when character wrestling was dying off. They had the whole crappy 95, 96, 97 characters didn't work. Let's just have attitude. But yeah, which brings us back to now, where again people are starting to, like I say, starting to be characters. They're starting to try and tell not just stories of a match, but stories about the character across numerous matches.
Yeah, I mean, look at R-Truth, where he's just popped back in and doing a massive thing with the Judgment Day.
He could do anything.
Really big, serious sort of faction, and then Truth is just doing his crazy stuff and just being Truth.
Just being Truth, that's it. Like, this is a question I always ask everybody then. So obviously, once you started wrestling, are you still able? It sounds like you are, but are you still able to watch as a fan, or do you find yourself kind of critiquing stuff? Do you have to watch stuff twice to be like, oh shit, I've kind of started. I need to switch back into fan mode.
It's a bit of both, really, because I can watch a match now and be like, and I watch it as a wrestler thinking, oh yeah, I like that spot. I could do this. I could wind that into something I do, or somebody that I'm wrestling could possibly do this, and we could make that look good. But then also I still watch as a fan.
That's cool. It's cool because, like I say, again, everybody's different. Some people can, some people can't. Some people literally need to flick a switch and be like, right, no, right, stop. I'm just, I'm just a fan kind of thing. So you mentioned earlier about, you actually come up with the names for the moves before the moves themselves.
Yes.
So how does that work? Do you sort of like, when you sort of come up with a name, does it then sort of is it like a blueprint? It's like, well, if it's called this, then it must be like an aerial move, or it must be like a technical move, or it must be like a sudden impact kind of thing.
I think it's my first sort of finisher stroke signature move was a package drop. So I'd send somebody off coming for a crossbody and then world's strongest slam, but with a snap. So I'd throw my legs and then bang straight down. But the first time I did it was at EBW, and I nearly killed Jonathan Launders, the Phantom. And B.A. Rose was at the side, and he was like, yes, you really need to use that because it sounded and looked sick. And I was like, this is when I was first learning, and I was like, I didn't want to hurt anybody, I didn't want to do anything wrong. And then I was like, I thought he'd wounded him, and I thought I'd killed him. And then somebody else who I look up to in the wrestling world was like, no, use that, definitely. And then
again, yeah, well, obviously you want to protect the guy, but there's got to be some impact for the fans to, fans will only suspend a certain amount of disbelief. They still need to see a little bit of something to make it be like, ooh. So, yeah, man. So, again, well, another question. Kind of, I always like to pick people's brains about what kind of mindset they go into when they go into training. So, when you decide to be a wrestler, did you go in with, obviously you named like Owen Hart, Jeff Hardy in your top 5, both very aerial guys, very sort of flamboyant in the style. Did you go in thinking, right, I'm going to be this flippy high diver, or did you go in thinking, right, I'm going to work the technical? What's in your head when you're sort of starting to train in that sense?
When I started training at EBW, it was just basic moves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So even when I got put onto a show, I wasn't ready for the show because I didn't know like the 7 points of a match and structure and stuff like that. It was kind of just, this person's been doing it a while, will look after you and you do this, that, and the other. Like, I think I went into my first match with James Bacon and I didn't have any set moves or anything. It was just a couple that I'd learned in training, and then obviously moved across to PPW, and then the training you get there is just phenomenal. It's, like I said, to your next level. The people you're learning from, the people you're working with, like, no idea is off the cards, and everything, every aspect of your character gets built on. It's not just, these are 3 simple moves you can do. There's the next level of everything.
There's always something that can be explored or tweaked or built upon, kind of thing. Yeah. So that's it though. But yeah, obviously, you learn the foundations. You learn, like I say, you learn the basics. Once you've got that, once you've got that in your book, do you then kind of gravitate towards a certain style, or do you just kind of feel what comes naturally? Obviously, you've learned the foundations. You know what you can do. Do you just then kind of go with the flow? And if it goes more technical, it goes more technical. If it goes more aerial, it goes aerial.
Yeah, I'm not a massive technical wrestler because my memory's a bit crap and I'm old. So learning, trying to remember all that sort of stuff, I'm not great with.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of, I can do bits and stuff and get by. I will try, and I'm kind of a striker and an aerial person. I'm quite nimble for a fat lad.
Well, let's see. I was going to pay you a compliment there, but it just sounds like I'm doing it for the sake of doing it. But I wouldn't use the F word, dude. But yeah, so obviously, like I said, so that's it. You've got to cater to your needs. Then you've got to cater to your strengths, basically. So yeah, if you can't remember the technical side of things, if you can't remember like move, hold, reverse, just punch him in the face.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was a good one. There we go. So work to your strengths, hide your weaknesses. Everybody's happy.
All right. As long as the fans get an envelope, they're not bothered what I do in the ring.
Oh, I don't know, man. That butters them up nicely. But I think you kind of you deliver. So that's the stamp.
Always.
The match itself is the parcel. So yeah, we mentioned 4 promotions. Obviously, hopefully, well, you've got a couple of bookings in April. Can you announce what they are yet? Are they sort of public knowledge, or
one's not, and one is already out there. for CWA.
Nice. Okay. Is that the singles? Is that?
It's a 4-man elimination. Ooh. 4-on-4 elimination.
Cool. So hopefully, if everything goes to plan, you'll be back.
Yep.
You'll be there. That's Blackpool, isn't it?
Yes, Blackpool. Well,
yeah.
Bit further.
That's cool though, man. Because the further out you go, obviously that means the better known you are in that sense. The way I would take it, being on this side of the curtain, if you just booked in like the Yorkshire area, it's because your reputation's growing in Yorkshire. If you're getting booked in Lancashire, dude, that's a whole other county.
Yeah.
And it's Blackpool, it's a city that's got a huge history in wrestling kind of thing. Obviously, you get booked to Blackpool. It's a new promotion or a newish promotion. Obviously, they want to hit the ground running. They're looking to build up an audience base.
Yep.
They've trusted you with the spot on the show, dude.
Yeah, I'm actually we're on the main event, so that's another big step.
That's huge, dude. That's that's not to be undersold, man. That's a massive pat on the back. It's a tip of the hat. To be booked in a main event in a different county.
Yeah.
I've said it a few times, but you're obviously doing something right.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, I am doing.
Who's the other 3 guys? Do we know yet, or are they yet to be announced?
I think they've been announced. It's a 4-on-4. So there's me, Hayden Sparks, Palmer, and Kai. A guy called Kai. Not really seen much of him as of yet.
Well, that's good. Again, this is what happens when you get booked, further away. You get to meet, because the impression I get from talking to people is, 87% of wrestling is networking. You get to meet people, you get to talk to people.
Yeah, I'll talk to anybody, mate.
And then obviously, but then then they will talk to somebody else, and it's like it's like a very cool triangular sales system, basically, but it's a cool one, not a dodgy one that's going to do you out of money. It's the wrestlers triangle network.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do.
So, but yeah, man, Blackpool. Obviously, as I said, hopefully that show goes really well. Obviously, you're there with Aiden, so you got a familiar face at least. He's been around. Sure, he'll look after you as well anyway if needs be. Not that it's needed, but it's always nice just to have that friendly face.
It is, definitely.
So besides that, in April, obviously you've got your Pursuit stuff going on every month.
Yeah.
What's going forward with Pursuit? You got any storylines coming up? Any feuds? Anybody pissing you off?
Not as of yet. I wrestled Lucy on the last show. We had a really good match. It was the first sort of match in front of an audience, so we did a good short match. Got her over, got character over. Very character-based match again. And then going forward, obviously with my injury now, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to be at. I was hoping to work Joe Champion at this next one in February, but I'm not going to be ready for then, unfortunately. So sorry, Joe. Our paths will cross again, I promise.
Could you just grab a mic and just build something that way? Are you comfortable on the mic? I know that's obviously a big aspect in the business as well, kind of thing. And again, I think Pursuit are very good at encouraging people to try things that they're not comfortable with.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
I never had a microphone in my hand until I went to Pursuit. And then obviously I'm not now sort of, I don't want that mic. I'll take the mic and do something if need be. But I'm still not the most confident on a mic.
But again, I think it's going to be one of those things you'll know from doing it. You'll gain confidence by repetition.
Yeah, but like being there, you get the best of both worlds. Obviously, you get Liam giving you the wrestling sort of side to it, because he's just a phenomenal coach and he's just amazing at what he does. And then you get Nathan, who's got his media and social background, and being on TV and with a microphone in his hand, and he is just one of the best at that. So you get the best of both worlds to become a wrestler.
Last year, you kind of got every aspect covered. You're ticking all the bases, basically.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I do think that's crossed. You know, again, talking about Kemp, I've seen massive improvement with him on the mic. You know, over the last several months, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I want to see some Postie promos. You know, we'll set you up with like the mail room or something. You know, you can have your own little spot like Piper did, or you know, you could have like instead of Piper's Pit, it could just be the mail room. You can interview people.
I did a really good one for a CWE show where I came like through my back garden and pretended to deliver a parcel to a woman called Karen, and then the show didn't happen. So yeah, I was like, but these things happen in wrestling, unfortunately. So it's just a learning curve, and I go on and move forward.
Yeah, but you can save that for another time. You know, that's something that's always there. It's always an opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think, you know, again, it's the possibilities, you know, of having a character. It just opens so many more doors. You can do stuff like that. You can do stuff like this. So right, the Postie character. Different people have different layers or levels to developing a character, building a character. You know, some guys have got origin stories. Some guys have got like a moral compass for the character, where that will affect if they have a match or don't have a match, or how they react to certain matches. Yeah, man, have you put that much thought into Postie? Does he have that sort of depth, or is he just a fun guy who gives people a blitz?
He kind of started off as like postman that was just there delivering and was like, oh yeah, this looks all right kind of thing, and then obviously lost quite a lot of a few first matches, and then it was like, actually no, I'm going to train a bit and do some of this, and then the character built and everybody enjoyed the envelopes and moving forward, and then I started winning and getting better, and it just went from there really. There's not sort of a massive origin story. But,
yeah, no, I mean, it suits some characters, other characters. Like I say, you just summed it up perfectly there. You know, the mailman turns up, likes to look at what's this. Yeah, I'll give it a crack.
Yeah.
That's the origin right there.
That's how it started off at Rise. I was just like the postman that was delivering stuff for Darwin and this and then I got like out there, and Saxton had a match where he had to beat 5 other guys, and like, I was just there like, oh, I'm just delivering something from Darwin for you, and then just got obliterated by him. And then there's probably one of my best photos I've got in a black and white picture of him putting me up and choke slamming me, but then all the letters I had in my hand went up in the air, and then all the letters coming down like rain, and me just dead on the floor.
Dude, Rise, yeah, let's quickly talk. You know, let's talk Rise, because that's always a promotion that's if I know somebody's been there again, you know, I've kind of got, because it's very unique.
Yes.
In, you know, just the environment, the fans, you know, the whole setup. Dude, I'm not underselling it. It must have been daunting as hell the first time you walked through, you know, at Rise.
It wasn't that bad actually, because
okay.
we were at PPW, so I was kind of like familiar to the area and everything, and a few of the people that were backstage and stuff like that. And obviously, Saxton really looked after me during that match. But then obviously we pushed on and gone to different places. But then when I did the first one outside of PPW, we were in. It was the charity show to raise money for Ukraine.
Yeah.
And then it was me against Aiden. And then Nathan came out and beat us both up. And then B.A. Rose came out and nailed him. And then there's another good picture I've got of the 3 of us at the side of the ring together, stood up strong. So yeah.
Nice. So yeah, I kind of forget Rise moves around every now, every now and again. Just for me, Rise is like Brudenell in Leeds, the Brudenell club. That's how I used to think of Rise. My mind automatically goes there, kind of thing. And that's, I don't know if you ever worked Rise at Brudenell.
Yeah, the Rumble was there this year, so
that's the environment that I can imagine. Imagine that being your first time at Rise. That's what I kind of had in my head. You just walked
that
into
would
there
be a
for
bit
the first
daunting.
time. So I presume, as you sort of said, everybody's awesome there. You get on with everybody. It's just I can imagine it just being a fun night.
Yeah, it was really, really good fun.
So the talk the Rumble, right? So we've talked Planet, we've talked Blackpool, Rise. Yeah, I mentioned like the list earlier, but is there any promotions that have caught your eye that you like the look of, and you kind of like hope by the end of 2024, I've had an A match there, or they've shown, they know about me, kind of thing.
I don't think so, really. I'm just kind of happy going along with where I'm at now, and then obviously I'm not going to be able to do this for very long, so I want to do as much as I can this year. I'd like to work abroad. I've named a few names I want to work with this year, but then I'd like to, I don't know, going forward, I'd like to think there's a role for me at PPW doing something else. Obviously now we've got the kids classes coming up and this, that and the other, and I think I would like to go down the promotional route at some point.
That'd be cool. I like the idea of like working, obviously not anytime soon, hopefully, but yeah, you kind of become a coach at Pursuit kind of thing, several years down the line kind of thing. It's a nice thought because you're still there, you're still doing stuff.
I don't think I'm going to be a coach at Pursuit, but I think definitely there could be some sort of role.
There's always something you could coach in, whether it's connecting with the fans, fan interaction, that kind of sort of stuff can't be undersold, dude. That's important. No. So there's definitely a place where people need to learn that stuff.
Yeah,
that's how the fans connect. That's what makes the fans care.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, I normally ask that question like North, places like that. A lot of people kind of have North on the bucket list kind of thing. Just to get up there.
I'd love to work North, but obviously, again, it's them levels, and I don't see myself anywhere near that level of North. When you see the talent that's on North,
never say never, dude.
Never say never, but
yeah, it's a journey, it's a ladder. But yeah, I like that vibe as well, though. It's kind of like, this. I'll take it one show at a time, one promotion at a time.
Yeah,
it is starting to expand. I sort of said, your radius is expanding. I'm sure it's not going to stop anytime soon. So
hopefully not.
Logically, dude, there's going to be more and more promotions going forward. We might not know who they are yet, but they will be. Yeah, that's the thing. So be pleasantly surprised as of whenever they start popping up.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'd be happy with that. So, well, working abroad, obviously, Pursuit, I think recently, obviously, they went to Mexico. I saw some photos of a Spanish trip.
Yes.
So they're building relations.
In April.
So is it? What's the April one? Is that that's going to be close to you, kind of coming back in it? So
yeah,
they pulling names out of the hat. You won't be on that one, right? Okay.
No.
I just wondered how they sort of pick people. Is it like, do you pick lottery tickets? You got bingo balls, names out of the hat, or is it certain people? Is the show designed around certain people?
I think it all depends, really. Like, I think it's a mixture of a lot of things. Who's doing well, what the show actually needs. So yeah, so they've got a very, very hard decision to make on when they can only take a few people to a show like that. because it's like what the show needs, because there is so much talent coming out of PPW. Like even some of the new starters are coming in and they're just sick. They're learning so quick, and like again, because they're learning from the best in this country, and they just Pursuit is just going to take over this country, really.
I know when I spoke to Liam,
being put on at the moment, and it's just people from Pursuit.
Yeah. Oh, I've noticed
people
as a
see
fan.
that talent on their show, and it's being recognised and noticed.
Yeah, no, definitely, dude. But you all, like I said, before, you're all working together. So, you work with the best, you become better as a result. So obviously they've got Italy in April. Is there any countries, obviously working abroad, a lot of people would say back in the day probably Germany would have been a hot spot, because the history for wrestling in Germany, that'd be an awesome place to work. Have you got any countries that stand out? Like would be fighting over a spot, say if they did a trip to Belgium kind of thing. I don't know if you're a fan of beer, they got a show in Belgium, right? I'm on that show, you will put me on that show.
Yeah, I do like beer.
Any countries?
Totally drink at the moment, but
any countries like that jump out?
I think France, because my dad lives out there, so that would be pretty cool. I mean, France is a massive country, so he'd have to travel, but he's only seen me once.
That'd be cool.
So that would be pretty impressive. Obviously, to go over to where he lives and all of his family that are over there to come along and me to put on a really good performance in front of the second part of the family.
That'd be cool. But yeah, that's the kind of sort of stuff. I mean, yeah, so when, if they ever did announce that, dude, you've got a strong argument. You've got to be pleading your case then to be like, look, please, I want to do this show. So, be a hell of an experience as well, man, because that's Wrestling 101 is, that trip abroad, that first trip abroad. I can't even imagine just, the excitement. Like I say, you're buzzing the first time you get a booking outside of your promotion.
Yeah, I was.
You get a booking in another country.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, that'd be amazing. I'm fingers crossed for you, dude, because obviously, I think, good things should come. They've been deserved. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other things, that might happen for you this year. Obviously, the key thing is that I don't want to emphasize too much because, you sat there with an injury at the minute. So we want you back first. Important thing, obviously, the most important thing is April. Get that CWE show done and dusted. See how you feel after that, I presume.
Yeah, well, like I say, I've got a potential booking for WrestleMania weekend. That's the big ass.
Okay. That's the big. Well, that's the one. Yeah, that's not been announced yet. So okay, well, fingers crossed for that one. But I can't.
But then obviously I've got my charity work that I'm doing this year as well, which I'm working closely with PPW this year.
Okay, what's that about?
Raising money for the Sheffield Children's Hospital.
Right, what are you doing? What are you doing to raise money for that? Let's get people in the know. If there's any links, obviously let me know and I'll post them in the description. But yeah, what's that?
We're doing a charity raffle in March.
Nice.
And then we've got a few other things that I've got lined up for the rest of the year. So this year we'll be primarily working with Pursuit Pro Wrestling and then raising money for them. Because obviously it's a big thing. It's a big thing I do. Like I've done it for a long time. But one of the biggest things I did was during COVID. Obviously I was still at work and everyone else was at home, this, that, and the other, and we had our first child in 2019, and then she was 7 weeks premature, and both of them I nearly lost, and it was like a really big deal. So I needed to do something while I was still at work because they were both on the vulnerable list. So I was coming home and not being able to see them properly and that, and so I went to work every day for 10 weeks dressed in a different fancy dress outfit and raised a ridiculous amount of money. I was, what did I do? I got on the Russell Howard show, which was pretty impressive. I was in the New York Times, a lot of local press and stuff like that. So yeah, like charity work is a big part of my life as well.
Dude, that cannot be undersold, anything like that. I kind of connect with that. My eldest, he was 3 months premature, and that was like 20 years ago. So yeah, I've been there. I'm not. It was thankfully, obviously, he wasn't during the COVID times, but yeah,
No.
he was in hospital pretty much for the first 8 months of his life, kind of thing.
Yeah. I spent my first couple of weeks on a hospital floor, just didn't come home. And then I think it was a couple of weeks in, and one of the nurses said to me, like, they're both okay now. They're both pretty good. You need to go home and have a bath.
But no, I can kind of totally relate to that. It's hard to sort of explain unless you kind of you've experienced kind of thing. Unfortunately, it's legitimately heartbreaking, and you're at a total loss for such a long period of time. The raffle tickets, though, are they available to buy now? Or are they going to be available to buy?
We're still after raffle prizes at the moment,
right?
Because we ideally want 50 prizes, and then at the beginning of March, when we move to the new facility, we're going to start selling the tickets. So we're going to be selling 50 numbers at £20 a number, and everybody in that raffle will win a prize. And we've got some really sick prizes that have been donated already. We've got Progress has been in touch today, and they're going to send us some signed merchandise. We've got some AirPods. We've got the list is just ridiculous. We're halfway through the list now, so we're into about 28 prizes now.
Wow!
So we're getting.
Is there obviously I presume there'll be links and stuff put onto the Pursuit website if people if anybody's watching this and contacts me, can I just put them in contact with you?
Yes, definitely, please. Yeah, on my Facebook account, and I now have an Instagram account because I've been pushed into that sort of direction because I'm a technophobe, and I've just never. I mean, I've always been carrier pigeon on my mailbag, so it's like Instagram is just a new venture for me. But apparently, it's worked, and got a few things through that way. And
it does, man. That's the thing. That's kind of it's weird. I totally get. It's kind of the alien to some people. But I think if you can kind of get your head around it, you don't have to post on there all the time. But it's the Reels feature. You can put like footage of what you do in the ring on there. It's free advertising. People can just look at your page and they can see what you can do. And it's just I think it's awesome.
I've been hounded for a long time to get an Instagram account, but I struggled with Facebook. So
yeah, nah, dude. I do think I would swear by stuff like instant stuff purely just because of the age that we live in. But as I say, there's no downside to it for you guys as long as you're careful about what you put on there and you just put really good stuff on there. It's like I say, it's just a highlight reel for you to put stuff on, and people can go look at it and be like, "Hey, this guy's awesome."
Well, I've done 3 posts. I think the first one was me coming out at First Pursuit. Second one is me in the Master lot with Chris Masters, and then the third one is the raffle, the charity stuff. So
cool. But right, I will continue to plug the charity stuff as well, though, for you as well, dude, because
very much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's an awesome cause, and again, anything I can do, it's just there's no, like I say, there's no downside. It's just a great cause. You're raising money. You've just been a generally awesome human being, and it's nice to be nice. Yeah. So, if anybody gets in contact, I'll put them in your way. Also, as soon as any links come out or anything, mate, fire them over to me, and I will put them in future episode descriptions and stuff. Continuously. So we'll get that done. We'll get money raised, and then if anybody comes at me with ideas for gifts, again, I'll point them in your direction.
Yeah, like we take anything because the amount of stuff I do throughout the year, and going forward, nothing is. So like, even if it's just a little something, like I appreciate that people don't have much at the moment and times are hard, but people pull through.
Yeah.
Just a little thing. Like some people can give big, some can give little. Like there's some people that you usually find that can't give anything, give more.
Yeah.
It's mad.
It is, yeah. I think it's kind of like, because I don't know. Again, you're not going at anyone else or anything, or saying if you only give a little, you should give more. But I think sometimes it's the people who go without appreciate what it feels like to go without, so they give a bit more, so somebody else doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but dude, I'm going to end it on that kind of note, because I think that's a good place to kind of, people will remember. If you start talking about something else now, it kind of undermines the charity side of things for me. Okay. So I'm going to say, obviously, massive thank you for coming on, chatting, talking.
Give me a platform to get out there.
You've mentioned you've got a post, an Insta. What is it? Where can people come and see the good stuff? What's your Instagram?
It's, oh my God, what is it? At Postie Malone IP.
There we go. Sorted. I will. I'll post it again. I'll post links and stuff in it as well. Anyway, so when I post like this episode's up on Instagram, I'll make sure to tag you in it. So obviously, if you see this on Insta, hit the follow button. Show the postman some love. Hit like, subscribe, share, do the normal stuff you do after watching the video. And yes, please, if you've got any, if you want to contribute or help out in any way to do with the charity, please either hit myself up or hit Pursuit up. I'm sure they'll obviously get a message to Postie, and we'll get something sorted. But
it's at Postie Malone IP. My wife just sent me a message.
There we go. Behind every great man, there's a great woman. Just saying the right thing.
Definitely, she is a great woman.
Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for chatting. I will see you soon. But yeah, thank you for watching as well. Keep your eyes peeled. Talking of EPW, I'm doing a bonus episode Friday with Radu Bulat and Dean Mitchell. We are talking about an EPW Rumble from 2013, apparently. We'll do the back thing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've no idea. It just randomly came up in conversation. We agreed to do an episode about it. But Radu's got a shed load of stories to tell. So who am I to say no to Radu? So we will see you again very soon. Dude, thank you for talking, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Don't go anywhere.